Welcome back, Savannah, to the Savannah Business Showcase. I'm here again with Aaron Hill, founder of Primary Web Design, and we're going to take him through the lightning round. All right, are you ready?
I'm ready. I like how you didn't know at first whether I was founder, CEO, president.
I just put them all in there.
All that fun stuff. That's good. That's good.
What do you call yourself?
Sole proprietor.
That's what the IRS calls you.
Yeah, that's what they call me. So I'm just a business owner. Anybody asks me, I'm a business owner.
Got you. Okay,
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay, so first question: how have you approached failure in life?
With a sledgehammer. Absolutely. Yeah. No, I don't like failure. I approach it with perseverance.
Okay, good. Who influenced you early in life, and who's your mentor now?
This is going to seem funny, but Rich Little was one of my first influences as a kid.
I'm sorry, I don't know who that is.
Rich Little did voices for different cartoons and movies.
Okay.
He was very, very popular back in the 80s when I was growing up. And I just loved doing voices.
Okay.
At one point, I had about 83 different voices that I could do.
Really?
Yeah, and they were pretty spot on. And please don't ask me to do them.
Okay.
I mean, I'll do them, but please don't ask me because then I have to come up with something that they would say. But just simple voices. As I grew older, voices like Gollum became popular, so I started doing that voice. And I don't know if you remember, there's a movie called The Princess Bride. Okay, so there's a character in there. His name's Wallace Shawn. And he does the little scene back and forth with the iocane powder.
Yeah.
And he's got this really kind of strange, quirky voice.
Yeah. I just watched that movie this year.
And he says, "Inconceivable!" So I loved doing voices. So he was a major influence to me. Because Rich Little he would get out there and he'd do all these different voices.
Yeah.
And I just fell in love with it. I was like, yeah. So he was a major influence.
So what is Rich Little known for? Like, what's one of his major characters?
Gosh.
Or what are you known for?
Well, the first time I ever saw him was Rich Little's A Christmas Carol.
Okay.
And it was the Muppets Christmas Carol.
Okay.
And Rich Little did all these different character performances. And like one of my favorites was Paul Lynde. And Paul Lynde had a really goofy role on the TV show Bewitched. He was the drunk uncle.
Okay.
Who was always the drunk gay uncle who was always coming in and what is going on here? So Rich Little used to do that.
Too.
Yeah. And I got into that and I was like, yeah, I can do this. I can do these voices.
Yeah.
And I did them for a long time. That's actually how I got into radio.
Awesome. Yeah. I watched a lot of Nick at Night as a kid, and I
Loved
think that's
it.
why I get along with my wife's grandparents so well because the jokes that I think are funny are probably the same things they think are funny. All right. Anyway, next question: do you have kids, and what did you teach your children, or were you going to teach your children about entrepreneurship?
I do have children. I have 3 kids.
How old are they?
Oh, gosh. No. 24, 19, and 17.
Gotcha.
Hey. I didn't teach my kids about entrepreneurship growing up. I kind of took a hands-off approach to that. I wanted them to be themselves, be whatever they wanted to be. There was something that my girlfriend and I had talked about when my second son was born, and I said I want him to be a really smart kid. I want him to be super intelligent, and I want to teach him all of these things about knowledge and about how to gain knowledge and what wisdom is, and I was going to impart upon him all of the things that I had learned through life. And she stopped me and she said, I just want him to be happy. And I said, man, now I feel like a heel because it's true, Yeah. You want your children to be intelligent, but really the most important thing about life is being happy.
Right.
And finding happiness in whatever it is that you do. My parents did not push me to go in one direction or another. What they did was they told me they don't care what I do with my life as long as I'm the best there is at it. And that is what I've carried with me my whole life. And that's what I impart to my children and to any child that's out there. Be happy and be whatever you want to be.
What have you had to sacrifice in order to start your business?
A lot of personal relationships. Like I said, I was a bartender for many years. There's a whole lifestyle that surrounds that industry. And it's a lifestyle of staying up really late, getting off at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, going and drinking with all your friends at the bar, because if you don't, who are you?
Yeah.
You know, if you don't drink, they don't trust you.
Really? Wow.
You know, that was kind of the attitude. And I was like, well, I want to be a friendly person. I want everybody to get along with me. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to hang out and have fun with them. As a result, though, you don't get up real early. You don't have a lot of time to spend on building a business. So you end up having to sacrifice a lot of personal relationships with people who are not necessarily toxic. I don't want to use that word because I don't like that term, but they're not going in the same direction as you are.
Right.
And if they're not, then you do have to cut them loose. And it's the hardest thing in the world to do.
Yeah.
And I don't hope that anybody has to do it, but that is a sacrifice that you have to make if you want to be successful.
I agree. I don't have a problem cutting people off, so that's
Edward Scissorhands, right?
Yeah. I have scissors, I have scissors on my toes too. I'll cut you. I'm just joking. What is something that you consume religiously? It could be a blog, TV show, YouTube channel, podcast. What's something
there's
you
a
don't
particular type of software that I use to build my websites, and there are forum groups that are devoted to that. And I get email updates all the time, and I go and I read that.
Got you.
So just staying on top of changing trends and design aspects, that and coffee. Those are the two things that I consume the most.
Do you have any hobbies, or are you a part of any groups that aren't mainstream, and that make people look at you weird when you tell them about it?
I try not to be weird.
It's okay to be weird.
It is, and that's one of the things that I've learned. I've started embracing my weirdness because I am a very strange person. Like I said, I grew up drawing comic books, so for me, comic books are my little hidden kind of secret love.
Okay. I
have a love affair with comic books that has been going on since I was probably 3 years old.
Yeah.
Superheroes, anything that has to do with that. Cosplay, I absolutely love dressing up.
Okay.
You know, and at first, you know, people were like, cosplay, what's that? That's something that I've had to explain to people. And it's really like, do you dress up for Halloween? Yeah. Yes or no? You know, have you ever dressed up for Halloween? Because as a man gets older, it's like, I don't dress up for Halloween. Well, okay, so maybe you don't, but you did when you were a kid, right?
Right.
Yeah, I did that as a kid. All right, then. So you know what cosplay is. Cosplay is just dressing up. It's just showing off football, okay? You paint your face.
Right.
You wear your colors. You
Right.
get out there. You scream. You hoot and you holler. That's cosplay for me, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's just you're doing it in a sports arena, and I'm doing it at a comic book convention in the local hotel. You know, I mean,
that's awesome, though. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm trying to talk my wife into doing one day, so we'll see.
Oh, it's fun. So much fun.
So I'll follow that with the next question. What if you had a superpower or a super ability, what would you choose and why?
Flight.
Okay.
Superman was my favorite superhero growing up. And I, as I've gotten older, I've kind of taken stock of what does that say about my emotional psyche, that flight is my favorite thing in the world. And it has to do with flight symbolizing something. It symbolizes freedom for me. If anybody was trying to capture Superman, he could just fly away.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to stop him. Didn't matter that he was made of steel to me. I don't care. Bullets bounce off of you, so what?
Yeah.
You flew away, man. These people were after you, and you were able to escape.
Yeah.
So anytime when I was younger growing up, anytime I became afraid, I always pretended to be a bird so that I could fly away. And I always said, if I die and I come back as an animal of some sort, I want to come back as like a hawk or an eagle or some kind of bird of prey, because the little birds, they get picked off so easily.
What was the last experience that made you a stronger person?
Oh, gosh. That's a really, really tough question. So many experiences I draw knowledge from. I have an experience almost every day that I learn from. Life should be, in my opinion, a learning experience. You don't go through life as if there's a destination. Like, all right, I graduated from high school. Good, now everything's done. Nope. I got married. I bought a house. I went to college. I got a good job. When does it stop? When do you say, I have arrived? In my personal experience, that has never happened. So for me, experiences happen every day if you're paying attention. And it's really weird because I gain knowledge from the stupidest things. Movies, commercials. I'll watch a commercial and I'll start tearing up because it touched me in some way. And it will impart a bit of wisdom on me that I can take with me.
Yeah.
But the most recent thing, I couldn't point to one thing that really changed me or helped me to grow just off the top of my head. But experiences I learn from every day.
Fair enough. What is your favorite book?
I could say the last good book I read.
That's fine.
Was Harry Potter.
Okay. Which one?
The Half-Blood Prince.
Okay.
Really enjoyed that one. But you want to say, oh, you don't read any books on web design or this. Those aren't good books. They're important for the information that they have. But when I want to read a book, I want to be transported to another world, and the Harry Potter books really touched me in a way that no other books have. I've been a fan since 2001.
Wow. Yeah. There's the concept of the 80-20 principle. I ask all the guests this. 20% of your actions equal 80% of the results you get in business. So what are the 20% of actions you take on a daily or weekly basis that get you 80% of the results?
I go out and talk to people and tell them what I do. I ask them what are some of the things that they're struggling with as a business. If I can help them in any way, I will. That little 20% of effort, just going up to somebody and saying hi.
Yeah.
That, for some people, because you say, well, some people are introverts, some people are extroverts, blah, blah, blah. That sometimes is difficult for me because I kind of teeter back and forth between being an introvert and being an extrovert. So for me, sometimes going up to somebody and saying hi is 80% of the effort for me. But it's so tiny and so easy to do,
right,
that it really is the 20% that leads to the 80% of success. Just going up to somebody and introducing yourself and just striking up a conversation is 20% of the effort, and you can yield so much from that little interaction.
Is there a quote that has always been a mantra that you live life by?
Yes. And actually, now that you ask me that, I can go back to that thing that did make an impact on me.
Okay.
So January 26th is my daughter's birthday. And on that day, I also had some difficulty in my life. I was really at a low point, and I posted something on Facebook. And a friend of mine sent me a YouTube video by Napoleon Hill. and it was the law of success.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, Aaron, this is really important, not just from a business standpoint, but from an emotional development standpoint. And I started watching just the first 2 minutes of it, and it was an hour-long video. And the way that he spoke and the things that he said meant so much to me. Just the way that he said it is really what had an impact on me. He was just so pleasing and kind and just warm-hearted and had a nice, even tone. And he quoted this. He said, whatever you can conceive and believe, you can achieve. And that had the greatest impact on me. And it really did change my life. So that's the answer to both your questions right there. Napoleon Hill, the law of success, and if you can conceive it and believe it, because conceiving of something is an idea, but believing in that idea is really the cornerstone of then achieving that idea. So conceive it, believe it, achieve it. That's my quote.
Awesome. I like that a lot. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
This is a tough one too. Some big city somewhere.
Okay.
That's I'm a city man. That's who I am. I'm not a country boy, although I have been mud bogging, and it was a lot of fun. And I've been trying to get out of my comfort zone a lot as I get older, because if my belief is that experiencing life is important, then doing things that are outside of your comfort zone are important. But for me, any big city, anywhere, the electricity, the people, that's really what I crave. Is just that communion.
Yeah.
You know, New York probably. I'd have to say Manhattan. When I was up there, I really enjoyed it, and I'd probably live there. Sure.
I agree. I know I'm asking you questions, but I definitely agree with you. I feel like I'm a city guy too in some ways. Whenever I go to New York, you can just feel the energy of everybody hustling and bustling around you. Or like when we were coming south, if you're traveling south into Atlanta, and I think it's got to be 85, but 85, and it just opens up into the city of Atlanta and kind of just engulfs you, and you just kind of end up in the city.
You feel like it's a magnet
pulling
you in.
It's really amazing. Yeah,
I love that feeling.
Yep. So I'll ask you a couple more questions, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up.
Okay.
What did you want to be as a kid?
As a kid, I wanted to do voices for cartoons.
Okay. Advice for entrepreneurial kids and their parents.
Find out something that you're good at and do it. Do it every day. There was this law that I read, the law of 10,000 hours. You spend 10,000 hours doing something, you will be good at it.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. There's nothing that I've ever heard in my life that has really made an impact on me as much as that did. Because when I first started web design, I knew nothing. Literally nothing. I didn't know how to write a program. I didn't know any coding language. I knew zero. And which was probably why I was apprehensive at first, when my college advisor said, you should do web design.
Right.
I got into it, and I said, I'll never learn this. This is just impossible. Yeah, I can draw a few things, but this is beyond my skill set. And I kept doing it. And I kept doing it every day. And I enjoyed it more. The more I learned, the more I enjoyed it. The more I was able to manipulate what I saw on the screen. And it's as easy as writing a little piece of code and then opening that code up in your web browser. And the web browser automatically renders it for you.
Right.
So I was having fun just finding little pieces of code and then typing it around some content, and then changing the background color, changing the font color. I could do anything I wanted to. And I was like, building a website is like sculpting. Like, you start with this white blank canvas, which is the viewport of your browser, and then you just put in colors and pictures and words, and then you start putting in borders around things, and it's like you are modeling with clay, except it's digital clay. And I just fell in love with it, and I said, this is what I'm good at. This is what I should be doing. And that was, I'd say that was about 10 years ago. And now it's just fun for me. I can go in and take pictures and take words and put them on the screen, and it's dazzling and it's fun and it's interactive, and I did it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really fun for me.
Awesome. Well, Aaron, that's it. We're going to wrap up. Thank you for being on the show. Aaron Hill, once again, of Primary Web Design. How can people find you and get in touch with you?
They can go to my website, which is www.primarywebsitedesign.com, or they can just give me a call anytime, 912-604-1126.
Awesome. Thank you for being on the show. Thank you, everybody out there listening, for joining us again this morning. I believe in everybody out there listening. I hope you guys are getting some type of value from the show, because I believe in you, and I want you guys to grow and build your business and connect with other people in Savannah. And I believe in you. Love you. Talk to you next week.